Welcome back, everybody. We are here with another set 7.5 patch 12.20 video. This time we are playing Dragonmancer reroll Kaisa. So if you watch my other videos, my default is always Lagoon, but it just wasn't working out that way, so I decided to go for something different. I'm going to probably fast forward through a little bit of this when it's not that exciting, because I don't want to waste too much time in places where it's not important. But it's really interesting to hear that I actually almost gave up in this game. I was about... Well, you'll see exactly where I get frustrated, and I just kind of start rolling and spending my gold thinking I'm getting 8, but then well, you'll see what happens. So here we go. So I'm starting off this game. Again, I found a Lagoon, I found a Dragonmancer. Those are usually my go-to buys at first. And pretty much a very standard normal game. So we're probably going to cut ahead a little bit here. Okay, so I cut ahead to the augments. I had okay starter items, nothing I could slam, but I decided I didn't like any of the first augments, so I immediately re-rolled, and then I thought, if I'm going to go Lagoon, I'm going to go Essence Theft, but by this point I thought I might go reroll Karma. So I chose Better Together, which is so stupid for a reroll build. I do not recommend it. That's another reason why I thought I was going to lose, is because I just felt like already I wasn't set up with my augments, and as you're going to see, my items don't really come together that great, so... But anyways, it's kind of important to do videos like this, because sometimes I feel like the videos on YouTube are all like the perfect game, or it's like maybe the first couple rounds are shaky and then all of a sudden it becomes amazing. That is not how this game went, and so I just want to show you kind of how you can maybe turn around a game, and I think that's kind of where a lot of people struggle. So if you're trying to climb the ranks, especially if you're not really high elo yet, this is going to be a very helpful video for you. So back to the items, like I see that I have part of a Jeweled Gauntlet or Infinity Edge, and then I possibly am going to have a blue buff. So those are great for Karma reroll or for Kaisa reroll. They both use more or less the same items, so that's kind of what I'm thinking here. I also have a chain vest, which I'm hopefully going to make into a Sunfire cape or a Gargoyle stone plate, something to give me a little bit of a front line. So one more quick rant on this augment, and then I'm going to fast forward ahead because it's pretty uneventful. I get my lost streak, I start doing my econ, hit my 10 gold for my interests, and that's about it. But this augment, aside from being what I think is bad for rerolls, because your bench is always changing, sometimes you need the units, I just think that it's a really annoying augment to play around in general. So I don't think that it should continue to be an augment, or if it is, I'm just never going to choose it. I could see if you high rolled a really good unit early and you have to hold on to it for your bench, or swap out units, and which is what I tried to do, that you're not going to end up using, so you can charge up these other ones, but just sometimes you're barely getting the units you want anyways. So to me it just feels like one more mechanic that you have to figure out and optimize, which again, we already have enough mechanics. Alright, so here we are at the carousel. I get first pick because I successfully lost streak. Sometimes I try to hedge my bets where I try to lose streak, but only only lose by a little bit each round, so I don't lose much health, but that always ends up screwing me over. So this time I just let myself lose, and I went down 20 health. I don't like lose streaking in general. So here I wanted to get the Jeweled Gauntlet because I felt like getting the damage item is more important than the mana at this point. However, there was a Karma with the tier, so then I knew I was going to get 2-star Karma and the blue buff, and I think the other person was going to beat me to the needlessly large rod anyways. So here we go. Now I'm looking at my board. It's looking pretty good, and yeah, I'm just kind of deciding what to do here, or how many stacks this augment has. And yeah, here I'm thinking I'm still going to lose streak, but as you can see, in an annoying stroke of luck, or unluck in this case, I end up winning this round. I should have kept the Karma on my bench. That was my mistake, but whatever. Usually if I end my lose streak, then I try my hardest to go on a win streak, but that doesn't work out for me this game. As you will see, I keep flip-flopping back and forth between win and lose streak, which the higher elo you get, the worse that is for you, because people are so good at optimizing their gold that you are going to fall so far behind. However, if you are lower elo, people are not as good at optimizing their lose and win streaks or just using their gold effectively, so don't ruin your whole game just to go on a lose streak that you're never going to come back from, or do everything to win streak because you feel like you have to, and then again screw yourself over later. I think that that's something that players often overutilize before they're actually comfortable and have the mechanical background of the game to execute well. And again, execution on this game is half the battle. So just in time for us to approach the Krugs, we are going to go back to a 1-loss streak. And you can't even call it a streak because it's literally not a streak. And you can probably tell by the frustration in my voice. This is so annoying. I know better than this, but whatever. I'm still rolling with it, and this game is going to turn around. You will see. And I would like to think that it was not all luck that this turned around. I did make some good decisions, and I kind of saw a plan midway, which I'm going to try to talk to you about and really go through my decision making and what made it into a good game where I placed in the top. So nothing really eventful happens here. We do the PvE round, get nothing really great for items, as you can see, other than what's going to be a gargoyle stone plate, and then we immediately go and lose the next round, which I'm honestly okay with because my gold's getting close to 50, which is perfect for a reroll comp because that is what you want to do. So my plan right here is I am going to hit my 50 gold, and then I am going to start rolling for my karma. In the meantime, we're going to pick our augments. I was going to do the earth grab bag or the high-end shopping. Then I realized, well, we are in a reroll comp. We don't want high-end shopping. The items I thought were a little bit risky, so I thought it's a reroll comp. I want to hit my 3 stars. I'm going to get the loaded dice. So now we are going to set up our board. I 2-starred my Nasus, and I 2-starred my Kaisa, so I'm going to throw them on the board. I'm trying to get the Shimmer Scale trait going because depending on what the item is, it's really good to do it nice and early. I mean, all of them have a benefit to using them early, but there's the one that changes into the other item that becomes Diamond Hands plus the Duplicator and the 15 gold, and that's really helpful. So I was hoping it was going to be that. So sold the Skarner, get the item, and it's not the one I wanted. I put it on Nasus, which I knew, okay, well, I just think I'm going to end up scrapping Shimmer Scale because I'm not going to use Nasus. I still stay on my lose streak, which this time I am actually very happy about because I want to hit my 50 gold so I can start re-rolling. I already feel like I'm a little bit behind on that, and so this is going to be the time because I'm still at level 5 for quite a while. I have lots of time to 3-star my karma. It's going to be what I think is very easy, but then you're going to see what happens, and it's not as easy as I thought. Also thinking it's probably a good time to just go ahead and use my dice. The lower level, the more likely it's going to be that I'm going to just hit my karma. So that's what I decide that I'm going to do. And what you're going to see is that I end up getting another 2-star Kaisa and still no second 2-star karma. So at this point I'm thinking as long as I can get one more 2-star karma, what I'm going to do is maybe go for the Kaisa, because also with this comp it's really good to go Guardian and 3-star your Zac. So because Zac and Kaisa are both 2 stars, I'm thinking that might be the new plan. The only problem is I kind of sold the Zacs I had. I don't have too many. But I also have a plan that I might 3-star my volley later, so that could also work really well too. It's really important in your reroll comps that you really commit to these low levels and trying to get as close to your 3 stars or hit your 3 stars as soon as possible. And if you're not hitting them, it is nice where the reroll comp allows a similar build for a different champion, in this case Karma and Kaisa, because sometimes you just don't hit it, and that is really annoying. In this game there weren't even that many contesting Lagoon or rerolls, so I didn't think it was going to be a problem, especially with my loaded dice, but I still didn't hit what I needed to. So anyways, we go to the carousel. I am happy that I got my jeweled gauntlet. That's perfect, because then I just need the one more item for this Karma to really start doing some damage, which is perfect. Or if I switch to Kaisa, that's going to work for me too. Alright, so we do 2-star Volley Bear pretty early, which I'm very happy about, because Volley, A, can tank a lot of damage, especially with a Gargoyle Stone Plate, and B, Volley does actually quite a bit of damage as well, especially if you do some like bruiser type item. I also am really cognizant that I am at 56 health. That's not the worst thing, because you can go a little bit lower with reroll builds, because the idea is once you hit it, you're really powerful and you should win for a very long time, and that will get you to the late game. But I also don't like to get too low, because I feel like if you just have one little bad stretch after spending all that health re-rolling, then it's really annoying. So as you can see, I'm now below 50 health. We're coming up on wolves, and I decide that I am going to go for this Karma and just get this re-rolling done, because I'm gonna have to go to level 6 soon. Some people are already at level 7, and I think there's one person that like hits level 8 this round, and I'm kind of panicking. So I go to level 6, decide, let's go for the Kaisa, hit my 2-star Karma, hit my 3-star Kaisa, which is so good. I feel really, really good about this. Even with just a jeweled gauntlet and a blue buff, Kaisa can do some really good damage. So now I'm like, okay, I am in a good spot, and I have 4 Dragonmancer, 3 Shimmer Scale, even though I'm going to probably scrap that soon. And now I can really start focusing on getting the items I need and really start building up a front line. Maybe even at this point, I'm thinking I could reroll for Volley. So gonna fast forward again here. We get to wolves. The items we get, again, are not very great. They're not optimal items, which is my problem with this game. Is the augments were never optimal, really, in theory. The items I got were never optimal, and I never got the lucky rolling I needed, so that's really annoying. But anyways, I finish off the PvE round. I get the Jade trait going, which I actually really, really like in this case. I don't know if it made the difference, but I did feel like it was really easy to start a win streak and get my gold to 50, so that's where we're at right now. Finally, an optimal augment, especially because I already hit Kaisa 3-star and I have Jeweled Gauntlet. I knew I was going to get Jeweled Lotus. It gives you that extra damage and allows your abilities to crit, which is already the build that we chose. So I can't even complain about the first augment and the second one that much, because this one is really great. I'm feeling like, okay, I'm in last, but that, I mean, that doesn't really mean anything, because I was doing a losing reroll loss streak type of thing. But I am feeling pretty good at this point. I have 4 Dragonmancers and 3 Jade, and now I'm thinking if I could just get Guardian online, that is the plan. And so because this is part commentary, part guide, I just want to take a sec and just remind you that when you're doing a reroll build, it is really important to have a really strong front line, because you are rerolling typically a 1 or 2 cost unit for your main damage dealer, and late game they just don't stack up as much as 3 or 4 cost carries. However, if you have a strong front line and you can get their spell rotations off, that is where you have the benefit. So just don't forget about building a really front strong line that can stay in the round long enough for you to demolish everything. If you get stuck on the tank and your front line is completely demolished, you are going to have a very, very, very hard time with the rounds, and you're going to lose a lot of health quickly, because at this point in the game you start to lose more health every single time you lose. Alright, we're going warp speed ahead again here. As you can see, I am finally on a win streak. I finally have things going right for me this game, and you're going to see my 3-star Kaisa start to dominate, even with only 2 items. look at the end of this fight, you are going to see me absolutely boom them, and this is what I've been waiting for all game. Then we are going to approach the carousel, and we're not actually going to pick first this time. We are going to pick second, which is okay by me. I'm thinking if I can just get one component at the Affinity Edge, I will be so happy. Looks like I'm going to. This person kind of fakes me out here because they're gonna, oh yeah, of course, because obviously the 5 gold would be way better, but I'm fine with that. I get the sword. I'd rather have the glove because it adds to your crit chance. You can immediately put it on and start to crit with your abilities more. However, that is okay. I do think worst case scenario, and I don't want to do this, but I do have Dragon Slayer. I don't think that is by far optimal, especially because I chose Jeweled Lotus, but at this point, I'm kind of still expecting things to go really wrong for me, so I'm just trying to now play as smart as possible. So when I was kind of in giving up mode, I was spending a lot of gold. I was just kind of like, I wasn't even really paying attention to this preparation augment, and I might have just slammed the items to be like, well, whatever, I'm just going to try to do the best I can. But here is where you can make the decision to really slow down and think, okay, I do have a kind of good setup. I don't have the most amazing front line, but I do have a 3-star, really good carry, so maybe I won't mess this up. And I guess some of my past games with reroll, especially when it's with Karma, actually, sometimes I feel like I have as good a board as the game before me where they got first or second, and then I end up getting 5th or 6th, and I am just really not sure why, because I had very similar items, similar leveling, similar positioning, and so I think reroll for me is always a little bit dicey. But here I thought, you know what, I do think that I'm the only one on a win streak. This must be a really strong board. I'm not losing to anyone at this point. I do think that I'm going to have some tough matchups coming up, especially after Dragon. But again, with the Dragon, I can really hope that I can roll enough luck to get my Infinity Edge, which shouldn't be a problem. I've had pretty decent experiences with dragons. The only problem is when you go into Dragon with 10 or 20 gold. Well, 20 gold is usually still okay, but if you go in with like 5 to 10 gold, you're really risking not getting what you need. And if you don't need a specific component or item, that's fine. But I think that Dragon is where you can really start to optimize your late game. So again, we are just going to absolutely destroy this other player, and we're going to Dragon, and I'm feeling fantastic. I am also starting to think about getting a Dragon in play. I was thinking about maybe switching to Bruisers because I do like Siphon the Bruiser Dragon, but then I kind of thought maybe I will go with the Guardian Dragon. Spoiler alert, I don't end up going with either. So here we see we have the glove. I'm thinking about doing this and putting a Rage Blade on Volibear, but then I'm like, I don't know, I think I do need a few more items, so I reroll again, I get a Morellicon, and then I'm like, okay, this is actually probably the best I'm going to get. Then I can save my gold for leveling up, because I do want to hit level 8 soon, because now I'm thinking I'm going to definitely try to go for the 3-star Volibear, and maybe even a 3-star Lee Sin at this point, who knows. So feeling really, really good about that. There's the Lee Sin as well. So here's where it gets a little bit interesting, and this is where I think you have to be really adaptable. Getting this dragon, I've never actually played with this dragon before, but I did remember, you know, having that Jade statue was really handy. My comp definitely does benefit from attack speed. It does make a little bit of a difference for Kaisa even when she is having not quite a full mana bar. Those extra attacks get it there quicker, and Volibear, he benefits with attack speed, so I thought, you know what, this is actually going to be really, really good. So we're going to fast forward here again because I just continue my dominating win streak. The only regret I have here is not keeping some gold, especially because I was on a win streak. I should have tried to hold on to my gold a little bit better, because I still didn't have my 2-star dragon yet, so it's fine. It's truly not a big deal, but I just wish I would. I went from last place all the way up to 3rd in terms of health, which again, I know doesn't really mean anything. There's already somebody eliminated, so I'm feeling really good about that. And you can see that my Kaisa just continues to absolutely dominate. So we are back here at the carousel, and thank goodness it is a dragon carousel. I'm really stoked about that. I had to double check to make sure I was going to get the right dragon, because based on how many just dumb things I did this game, I was like, you know what? I'm going to end up picking the wrong dragon, and then I'm going to end up losing. At this point, I have zero confidence in myself. I don't know if you can relate to that, where you're just like expecting yourself to mess up, and it doesn't matter what elo I'm in, I always am the same. And so here we go. I'm feeling really good that I have one more dragon to get, and then I'm at 2-star, which I think is really going to change the game. As you can see, I still have 4 Dragonmancers. I have 4 Jade, 2 Mystic, which is good for magic resist, so I'm really happy that some of my tank items are actually more armor based, and then Guardians, and then the 1 dragon, so great. It is really good to get 2 dragons on the board if you can. My build doesn't really work because I don't want to go down to 2 Dragonmancer, because then I think Kaisa loses too much AP. But if you can get 2 dragons, I have had success. 2 2-star dragons is pretty good. The only way you really lose is if somebody has like the 4 dragon comp, which is really annoying. They already nerfed it once. I hope they nerf it again. So here I just lost my win streak, which is kind of to be expected. I kind of thought it was going to happen at some point, but it is kind of sucky because I was pretty close to winning that one. I just needed one more rotation off, and I think I'm still trying to figure out the positioning here, because like I said, this is really the first time I've used that dragon, used the Jade trait in this whole set. So I'm really trying to figure out my positioning, and you can see from here on out it's probably not optimal, but I do think that it ends up working for me pretty well. We are at the top 6 now, which is really great. I do see my 2-star is right there. I'm actually thinking at this point, do I sell something to get my 2-star? But then again, that's the panic player that you have to try to calm in yourself, is just wait that one more round. It's not like I just came off a win streak. Even if I lose some of these rounds, it's probably not going to be 10 or 20 health. Like, I'm definitely going to have time to get this dragon and keep my comp going. Here you're going to see they have a ton of shields, which is very irritating. This fight takes way too long, but I'm pretty sure I clinched this one. Yeah, I definitely got this one. Surprisingly, Kaisa reroll pretty good against assassins, and feeling really good about that. Didn't quite knock this person out, but 6th place did knock out. I just beat that person. They have no health left, so I'm thinking, okay, I think I am in top 4. So now again, I'm slowing down and thinking, what do I do here to make this work? Here's another tank item, perfect for my dragon, and fun fact, you can stack those 2 items. It does give an active shield, so I thought maybe it was only 1 per champion. Worst case, I would have thrown it on Zac. It might have even been more optimal to throw it on Zac, because then maybe it would trigger at 2 different times, but I thought, you know what, I want to make this dragon really strong. I don't think Zac's going to last very long in these fights. As you can see, I put him right up at the front to kind of get first cut off the team. I am starting to think here too, not for the econ, but maybe I should try to get the Lagoon trait going for Kaisa, so that she has a little bit more AP and a little bit more attack speed. So I am kind of playing around in my head right now. Should I sell something, or can I hit level 9 to get that 1 extra person on the board, or to get that 2nd dragon? But because all my units are so closely tied together, I'm going to lose a trade if I put in another dragon. So then I'm kind of like, I just don't really think I can do that. One more fast forward here. I just win the rest of these rounds before the next carousel, which I think is the final carousel. And this one actually knocked out 2 players. So now I'm feeling really good because even if I get 3rd, I'm thinking, I thought I was going to get 7th or 8th. And that feels really, really good to know that I just made some smart decisions, slowed it down, and really thought, what can I do to make this board the best possible to at least get 5th, so I only lose 10 LP, or top 4. So this is what is going to be the final carousel. I'm not really seeing anything that I love. I could get the tank item again for my dragon, but I thought, nah, I'm just going to wait on that. I'm thinking we're going to probably make it to the next PvE round, so there will probably be a good tank item, or if there's a good damage item, that's fine, I'll put it on Lee Sin. So I'm going to throw this on Lee Sin to give Kaisa yet another buff, because at this point, she is doing almost all my damage. Volley's doing decent damage, and actually the dragon is doing pretty good damage too, but Kaisa is, of course, the main focus. She is carrying this game on her back. So I have beat both these players in my last 2 fights, so I'm thinking this should be pretty easy. I'm going to start playing with my positioning a little bit to try to throw them off. That's kind of my plan going into this end game, and yeah, it seems like it should be pretty easy. I don't really see that their comps are changing that much. Maybe they're, getting a 2-star, hitting a 3-star here or there, but still seems like it's not a problem. So again, I win this one, go on another streak. Seems like it's probably going to be pretty easy. Now I'm facing, in my opinion, what is going to be the easier comp coming up here. Okay, so this is actually the last fast forward. I just keep winning, then we do the PvE round, and I get a Jeweled Gauntlet, which this dragon does true damage, so I thought, you know what, this is the end of the game, let's give it to the dragon. We're probably not going to get any more items. That's my best move, and here we go. Let's finish this game off. I hope you found this guide helpful as we get into the last of the video. I'm going to be doing more gameplay commentaries and guides and tip videos, so follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff if you're interested. Happy to have you here. Okay, so now we go into this final battle, and actually as this fight's starting, I get a tweet notification that they released the changes for the new patch, and they are not only nerfing Dragonmancers, but they're also nerfing Kaisa. So this is a double nerf, no wonder, because this is really strong. So here I'm literally stunned that I lost against the assassins. I think it was my positioning. I tend not to worry about positioning as much in lower elos, only because it's like almost out of laziness. As soon as I get closer to like Diamond 2 Masters, then I'm always positioning because I know it's so important and people are changing and scouting all the time. But yeah, sometimes I feel like it doesn't even make a difference. It's like your comp either wins or loses, so then I just kind of leave it as is. But now I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm definitely going to win this one, right? Because I won last time. They kind of changed their positioning. I changed mine, so I'm thinking this is probably pretty good. But all of a sudden, I just get absolutely dummied. Had I killed the Nomsy, I think that dragon is there, I think I would have actually went into the final round, and I think I probably would have got first, but I got third, and honestly, based on how the game started, I'm really happy with that. I hope you found this video enjoyable and informative, and just remember that patch 12.20b is going to launch tomorrow, October 25th. This build will be a little bit weaker, but this wasn't even the absolute most optimal. I didn't hit a lot of my 3 stars. I think I could have won had I committed to that Zac or Volibear 3-star, and so I think that the build is still going to be great, just a little bit less contested. So good luck with this. Have a great evening.